Everybody knows that raising the rent is the best way to make more money with your properties. But I just want to say, maybe it depends. One of the things that we see is when people buy a property is one of the first things they like to try to do is raise the rent on the existing tenants. And that's fine. We want to have the tenants paying market rent. But the variables to consider is that if we tried to raise the rent too much and that tenant moves out, then you might be looking at some bigger costs than you're thinking about. A, getting the tenant out could be costly if you have to deal with evictions, things like that. B, making the property ready for rent again can be definitely costly. You know, we've got to update the place, paint it, change the floors, maybe fix some things that the previous tenant didn't care about or that they were letting us exist. And then C, we've got to find a tenant, which can take a little bit of time. It might take a couple weeks or a month or two or something like that until the new tenant's moving in. Then you got to pay, of course, the agent who's helping you find the tenant, generally somewhere around 1 month's rent for filling it. So while you might be getting an extra couple $100s a month, you might be looking at losing a few thousand a month in rent while it's vacant, plus losing another few thousand or more to make the property ready. So it doesn't necessarily always make sense just to raise the rent if that means you're going to lose a tenant. One situation where it definitely makes sense, I think, is if you're intending to sell the property in the future and you think someone's going to buy it as an investment property. And when I say in the future, I mean like maybe within the next year, because we want to have the higher rent because that number is what people are using to calculate cap rate and cash flow and all the types of things that helps them identify what they'll pay for the property. Maybe they're following the 1% rule. Lots of variables to consider. I think it's important to think of all the angles, and that's why it's good to call someone who does this all day long, someone who knows what they're doing. We'd love to help. Thanks.